Hi everyone, Carl here with Goflyfishing, and welcome to a new episode of 2 Minutes Monday. In this series, it's all about product reuse, tips, tricks, information about fly fishing. So if you are into fly fishing, consider subscribing to the channel. And if you like the video, it would really help if you could give it a thumbs up. In today's episode, we are going to talk about which color you should choose on your fly line. And the big question is, how important is it to choose the right color? There's a lot of different fly lines and fly line colors to choose from on the market today. And up here in Scandinavia, for the last couple of years, it has been really popular with muted colored fly lines, such as the clear fly lines, camouflage fly lines, and also the earth tone fly lines, such as gray, light brown, brown, olive, and green. But still on the market, we have the highly visual fly lines, such as the orange one and red, and a couple of other colors as well. And I can easily understand that if you are new to fly fishing or just started with fly fishing, that can be really difficult to choose which color you should have on your fly line. The reason why I'm making this video is because I made a huge mistake when I was recommending the wrong color of a fly line to a good friend of mine that was just started with fly fishing. And at the end of this video, I'm going to tell you what I believe is the best color you can choose for your fly line. So before we talk about which color you should have on your fly line, it is very important that we talk a little bit about the fish that we are targeting. We know that a fish, they don't see colors from a far distance. They see gray or dark. But if an object is close to the fish, they can definitely see the difference in colors. So if you are casting your fly line on top of the head of the fish or close to the fish, they can definitely see the difference from a clear fishing line to a highly visual colored fly line. No doubt about it. But I don't reckon that your choice of color on your fly line is the reason why the fish gets spooked or not. It's more the impact of the fly line hitting the water surface that will make the fish swim away. So, in my opinion, the color of the fly line does not matter when it comes to the fish. But on the other hand, for you and as me as anglers, I feel that the color of the fly line is very important. That brings me back to when I made a huge mistake by recommending the wrong color of a fly line to a good friend of mine. He wanted to start with fly fishing and coastal fishing for sea trout up here in Norway, and he was asking me which kind of lines that I was using. And at the moment, and still today, one of my favorite fly lines for sea trout fishing is the Scientific Angler Still Water Camo. This is a beautiful line that fits almost every conditions. And he went and bought that line, and the day after I promised him that I will show him the basics of fly casting. And that's when I realized that I have made a really bad choice recommending that line for him. Because when you're fly casting, it's very important, at least as a beginner, that you have the visual contact with the fly line when you're casting, so you can see the fly line in the air. And with the camo line that I recommended for him, it was almost impossible to see the line in the air. So I went up in my car, took out a high visual colored fly line, an orange one, and it was so much easier for him to cast with that fly line. And from that situation, I went out a week later fishing with a client. He was renting some fly rods from us from the lodge that we have up in Norway, and I decided to bring one rod that would spring with the camo line and one with a high visual orange line. And I asked him if he could use both of the setups just to see if it was any difference between those two setups. And of course, immediately he recognized it was so much easier to cast with the high visual colored fly line. But also when we have the line out in the water, it was so much easier to see if you had any slack in the system when the line was flowing out there. And also by mending. So to have that visual contact with the fly line, I believe it is so important. And why make fly fishing harder? You know, it's hard as it is. So all the fly rods that we rent out from our fishing lodges up here in Norway, and we go to Iceland, they are now rigged with high visual colored fly lines. And I understand that if you are a professional fly fishing man or a woman, and if you don't need to have that visual contact with your fly line, even though you have to take a back cast in between some bushes or some trees, of course then you can choose whatever color you would like to have on the fly line. But if you are new to fly fishing, I will really recommend you to find a fly line that is in a high visual color. And what I would like is that you could comment down in this video on what kind of color you have on your fly line, because this would be very funny for me to see if I'm the only one thinking about this, or if you also have the same experience as me when it comes to the color of the fly line. So thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I really hope that I see you in one of the future videos on the channel. And remember one thing, guys, that during this pandemic, the safest place to be now is out fishing. So remember, go fly fishing.